let's try that one more time. Chair Commissioner Coolidge, could you please give the sound check?
Sound check.
Perfect. You can hear Commissioner Coolidge. Chair. All right, again, Chair, you're unmuted now.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. We have you now.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning. My name is Dan O'Brien, the Public Information Officer, filling in for Arizona Racing Commission Secretary Ana Armenta. I'd just like to remind everyone attending in person today to please silence your cell phones and also please keep chatting and conversation to a minimum, as we do have microphones in the ceiling that will record any additional noise. Please respect those who are attending both in person and virtually by waiting to speak until directed to do so. Today is October 10th, 2024, the 728th Arizona Racing Commission taking place in person and virtually via Google Meets. I will do the roll call. Chairwoman French Contreras.
Here.
Vice Chair Olson.
Present.
Commissioner Coolidge.
Present.
And Commissioner Zucker. Present. Thank you. And we have a quorum. It is now 10:02 and the floor is yours, Chair French Contreras.
Thank you very much. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I do apologize for a last minute change and not being able to attend in person. Please know that they are important to me. However, I had to be a parent this morning and it conflicted with getting there in time. So I do apologize to everyone this morning. With that, let's call to order this 728th Arizona Racing Commission meeting of October 10th. And let's go to action item B, review, discussion, and possible action for TP Racing's request for correction of a previously approved 24-25 charity race dates, Saturday, November 4th, 24, Saturday, December 28th, 24, and Saturday of May 3rd, 2025. Do I have any updates or additional information from staff on this?
Yes, Madam Chair, Brian Duncan. At the September 17th, 2024 commission meeting, the commission approved the charity dates given to them by the department. Those dates were Saturday, November 4th, Saturday, December 28th, and Saturday, May 3rd. The date of Saturday, November 4th should have actually read Saturday, November 2nd. The other approved dates remain the same. The division is asking that Saturday, November 2nd be approved instead of Saturday, November 4th.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Any questions or motions on this item?
Chair, this is Vice Chair Olson. I move to approve the amended date.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Zucker. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I have a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by Commissioner Zucker. I will call the roll. Chair French Contreras.
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson.
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge.
Yes.
And Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
Perfect. With a total of 4 yeses, thank you. That motion passes.
Thank you very much. All right, let's move down to B2. Request from Turf Paradise for approval of the off-track betting facility, the Trophy Bar, Ocotillo, located at 2551 West Queen Creek in Suite 4 in Chandler. Any questions or additional information from staff on this item?
Yes, Madam Chair, Brian Duncan again. The department did receive all documentation and supplied all the paperwork to the commissioners, including the Chandler City approval for the Trophy Bar. The department does recommend conditional approval for the OTB, the Trophy Bar, Turf Paradise, until the department has done a complete inspection of the renovated facility prior to giving them consent to begin operations. In addition, as always, prior to the opening of the facility, it will be re-inspected, and then employees and responsible parties, we will make sure that they're all licensed as well.
Mr. Duncan, when do you think the renovations will complete?
I do not know the actual date of the renovations. I know it's probably going to take a couple of weeks.
Great. Any other?
It's just putting in some of the machines and kind of cordoning off the bidding.
So we're thinking within the next couple of months,
No, a couple weeks.
couple weeks. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Great. Any other questions from my fellow commissioners?
Chair, this is Vice Chair Olson. I have one.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Duncan, based on your review of the documentation and understanding the recommendation and the pending inspection, is it your belief that this is in the best interest of racing in the state?
Yes, yes, it's a good facility. It'll end up being a very good facility for the state.
Thank you. With that, Chair, I'm ready to make a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to move to approve the request from Turf Paradise for approval of the off-track betting facility, the Trophy Bar Ocotillo, located in Chandler, Arizona. And that would be conditional approval until inspection prior to consecutive operations.
Great. Do I have a second?
This is Commissioner Zucker. I second it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I have a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by Commissioner Zucker. I will call the roll. Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
and Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
With a total of 4 yeses, thank you. That motion passes with conditional approval.
Thank you. Dropping down to B3, we have the simulcast agreements pursuant to ARS 5-112U. We are looking at Turf Paradise, Churchill Downs, Golden State, Mahoney Valley, Breeders' Cup, Del Mar, Aqueduct, and Zia Park. I understand we have some questions regarding Zia Park. Staff, would you like to expand on that?
Madam Chair, the Zia Park that's in question will actually be on item 4. It'll be with the IHA documentation. The 5 and 12U contracts is up to date and should be good for all that have been turned in. The department would recommend that the 5 and 12U contracts for items B3, 1 through 7 all be approved for Turf Paradise.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from fellow commissioners?
Chair, we may have one additional request to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, Commissioners Lloyd Joseph was there on the HPPA. Late last night, we had some issues come up about item on 3A7 Zia Park. And we'd like to, if you do approve this, we'd like to be conditional on further notice from the Arizona HPPA that it's okay to go forward or not go forward. So we're not sure. We got a board meeting on the 16th and the decision will be made after the 16th. Is that possible?
Thank you, Mr. Yoder. Just for quick clarification, I think you might be speaking to 4A7 related to the signals rather than the agreements. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
No problem. So we'll if that's okay, we'll just table your comments for now and return to that on agenda item 4.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm sorry. I didn't know we were in front, but didn't read my notes.
Thank you so much. Chair, if there's nothing else, I'm ready to make a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to move to approve agenda item B3 simulcast agreements pursuant to ARS 5-112U for Paradise items 1 through 7.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Vice Chair Olson and a second from Commissioner Coolidge. I will call the roll. Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
and Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
Thank you. With a total of 4 yeses, thank you. That motion passes.
Thank you. Dropping down then to 4A, Turf Paradise, 1 through 7. Again, we have Churchill Downs, Golden State, Mahoney Valley, Breeders' Cup, Del Mar, Aqueduct, and Zia Park. We've had some discussion on that. Mr. Duncan, do you want to expand any further?
Yes, Madam Chair. I do have one update on item B4. It's going to be item number 7, Zia Park. It does have all the documents turned in, but the Arizona HPPA would like to have this one conditionally approved until they have a group meeting on Wednesday, October 16th, and vote on the approval. I did send everybody the email that I did receive. If you did not get it in your email, I also had a hard copy for those in attendance today. With that being said, department would recommend item 1 be approved, and then items 2 through 7 be conditionally approved, pending the rest of the documentation being received from the permittee and the Arizona HPPA after their meeting.
Mr. Gessman, do you have any additional comments regarding the conditional approval of Zia Park?
Chairman, this is Lloyd Yoder. I was one making the comments, the president of the Arizona HPPA. I do not have any other comments other than the fact that we granted some conditions that we need to clarify during our board meeting on the 16th. So we'd like to have a conditional this week, collective meeting with the department on their decision.
Thank you, Mr. Yoder. I apologize for that. I have a little bit of a sound issue, so I appreciate the clarification. Do I have any other questions from our fellow commissioners?
Chair, I just had one question for them.
Yes, ma'am.
On item 5, which I believe is Aqueduct, are we missing any documentation for that one? I noted that 2 documentations are not available. Does that mean that they won't come in or that they're pending?
That is correct. I'm just going to, before we give it a full approval, I want to double check the documentation, make sure it is correct.
Perfect.
So I'd rather do a pending, and then we can double check all documentation and make sure everything is correct.
Understood. So just to clarify, item 1, everything's in order.
Yep.
This is something that happened and everything else needs to have at least one check.
Yeah, and then the department will make sure all paperwork is turned in prior to giving them permission to turn the signal on.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Duncan.
Yes.
Chair, can I make a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to move to approve agenda item B4A1, simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IA section 3004 A3 for Turf Paradise Churchill Downs.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Vice Chair Olson and a second from Commissioner Coolidge. I will call the roll. Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
Thank
you. With a total of 4 yeses, that motion passes.
Chair, I have a second motion.
Yes.
I'd like to move to conditionally approve agenda item B4A, items 2 through 7, to conditionally approve the simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHV section 3004 A3, conditioned on the department's receipt of all pending documentation and approvals, and to allow the department to act without further action from the commission.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second from Commissioner Coolidge. I will call the roll. Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
and Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
With a total of 4 yeses, thank you. That motion passes with conditional approval.
Thank you. Let's drop down to C, information reports. Bear with me if I look for hands or additional guidance from staff. We have track safety reports and grounds update. Do we have staff available for that report?
Yes, Chair, point of order. I believe Mr. Estrada will be leading this point.
Thank you.
This is Juan Estrada, Assistant Director for Racing. Just have a statement here. Good morning to you all first, members, commission, stakeholders, and attendees. Thank you for the opportunity to provide and for me to provide an update on track safety efforts as we approach the upcoming racing season. The agency remains committed to ensuring the safety of all participants, both human and equine, as well as our agency staff, while upholding the integrity of racing in Arizona. We are seeing an impressive increase in the number of horses expected to race. This season presents both an exciting opportunity and a greater responsibility. As the number of participants grows, We must ensure that the racing environment, both the track and the grounds, are prepared to support the additional volume of horses, staff, and visitors. Turf Paradise continues to actively work on the high priority repairs we have identified since June. We would like to acknowledge the efforts that have been made thus far to address the items identified on the inspections, repairs, and remedies checklist. We appreciate their hard work and collaboration as we work toward a safe and compliant racing environment. While progress has been made, there are still critical areas that need to come into full compliance prior to the start of the racing season. Since June, our staff has conducted inspections highlighting specific concerns related to health, safety, and welfare on the track facilities and surrounding grounds. We are closely monitoring the progress of the repair commitments and have been conducting weekly inspections. We are confident that all parties are working toward the same goal, a safe and successful racing season for all. Given the ongoing nature of repairs, our tight timeframe for the racing season to begin, and the critical importance of ensuring full compliance with regulatory standards, we believe it is necessary to schedule a special meeting prior to the start of the racing season. We will coordinate with the commission to determine the best date for the special meeting and our final recommendation of the committee's compliance with both state and safety requirements. Should you have any questions?
Mr. Estrada, when do you anticipate needing that meeting? I'm assuming in October.
Recommendation would be a week before racing. I believe we're only 3 weeks out before racing commences, and we're well aware that there are entries that go in. However, I believe a special meeting is required in order for us to provide the commission with an update.
Absolutely, because we do have horses coming in, we have trainers, riders, et cetera, that need to know whether or not they're starting November 2nd. So the sooner we could have that meeting and the sooner we could get an update.
Which is, so,
I'm sorry, was that?
That was outside echo.
Okay, thank you.
Noted. We will coordinate with the commission, chair, commissioners, and make sure that we assign a appropriate date to conduct the special commission meeting.
Great. Well, we'll definitely appreciate the update. We'll definitely make ourselves available to make that happen. The sooner, the better for everybody involved. Do I have any comments from the public on this matter before we move forward?
Chair, nobody signed in to speak on this. We do have one member of the public raising his hand. Mr. Nolan's coming up, but Mr. Nolan, did you also sign up to speak on that other item or?
Just in public comment.
Okay, Chair, I'll let you address.
Yes, Mr. Nolan, I'm sorry, you said you want to speak on this now?
Just briefly.
Please proceed.
Go ahead.
Thank you, commissioners and staff. Couple things that you just said that I want to touch on. You have time constraints. I live in the neighborhood, and from May 12th through a lot of the summer, some of these concerns were not addressed. I mean, it started in June in the state. The other thing is I've been back there just one time now, and at first I thought it was looking back. I was appalled to see the Eldro still standing there, those barns that have been condemned. They've had time this summer to bring this place into compliance. How are they going to be held accountable? These people's lives and livelihoods are at stake. I think we need to address it even in a firmer fashion. And I thank you for your time, and I'll reserve the rest for public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nolan. Any other comments, Vice Chair? Do you see anybody else involved?
No one in the room. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any additional comments from staff? Otherwise, I'll request a motion. Oh, I'm sorry, no motion. We'll discuss the next meeting, not by motion. My apologies.
in the room. Dr. Gale is also available and ready to make a presentation on this agenda item before you.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners, Dr. Sue Gale, State Veterinarian for the Racing Division. There's a health issue, a horse health issue that I just want to make a report on. There's been an equine infectious anemia outbreak on quarter horses in the Southwest United States. I'm going to read the statement that's been put out by the United States Department of Agriculture Veterinary Services. Currently, there are 16 confirmed horses that have been infected with equine infectious anemia. These are quarter horses. On September 20th and 24th, the National Veterinary Services Laboratory confirmed EIA positive results in 4 quarter horse race horses that were part of a group recently moved from racing in New Mexico to Los Alamitos in California. Several of the EIA positive horses were showing clinical signs of EIA upon arrival to California. Testing of in-contact horses in California and other epidemiologically linked horses in Texas and New Mexico yielded an additional 12 horses that are testing positive. All 16 EIA positive horses, 7 in California, 1 in New Mexico, 8 in Texas, were racing under the same trainer and attending the same series of sanctioned races in New Mexico in August and September. Additional exposed horses have been identified and are in the process of being tested in multiple states. The current epidemiological investigation indicates that the spread of EIA among these horses occurred by iatrogenic transmission. Updates to the current situation will be posted, and this post was made yesterday, October 9th. And just for a couple of brief comments, equine infectious anemia, as the name suggests, is a disease that causes a loss of the oxygen-carrying red blood cells in a horse. It's caused by a virus. There's no vaccine to prevent infection. There's no treatment to eliminate the virus from an infected horse, and there's no cure. The spread of the disease by iatrogenic means is regarding human transmission through use of onogenic needles, syringes, contaminated drugs, or blood products. And so this is what's considered a cluster. And USDA had identified a list of about 50 horses. They identified and located those horses, and that testing is underway. We will be having a safety committee meeting just right after this commission meeting with the horsemen, track management, and staff to determine if there are any other restrictive measures to be taken. Neither the federal veterinarians or the state veterinarians have imposed any travel restrictions on horses. I'd be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Gale. I have noticed more reports of the spread of this illness throughout the U.S. in recent months. When you do set your safety meeting, if you could notify the commission, that would be wonderful. Give them an opportunity to attend if they would like. Of course, we have to keep in mind that we can't have a quorum at the safety meeting because then it becomes a public meeting, would have to require staff, etc. But with that said, are you considering any special actions regarding certain horses or certain stables when they start coming into Turf Paradise for races?
Yes, and as been noted, horses have been arriving at the track for 2 weeks now, including some quarter horses. The first thing that has been taking place between myself and Dr. Butler is taking a look at the horses that entered, reviewing their Coggins tests to determine that they're got the current test that's negative. Other measures that have been discussed is closing this track off to quarter horses that come from a particular track, Los Alamitos. However, as I noted, this outbreak is affecting multiple tracks in multiple states. In other racetracks, Zia Park and Lone Star Park, those are tracks that are in states that are affected by this outbreak and positive horses. They are requiring a Coggins test within 30 days. So that's one of the options we'll be discussing at the meeting. Again, the other option is the risk to Turf Paradise. It seems to be really quite low, but it's not zero. So again, just keeping the annual, all horses are required to have annual Coggins tests, and we'll discuss whether or not that's sufficient.
Thank you, Dr. Gale. Any other questions from my fellow commissioners?
Chair, I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Neal, you mentioned that we are putting down positive horses in multiple states, and from your comments, it sounds like there hasn't been one identified in Arizona yet, but if you could address that.
There's been one horse that's on the list, that epidemiologically connected list, that is in Arizona and is being tested by the state veterinarian.
And will you address that case and how to handle it at your next meeting?
I can certainly provide an update on that. I would expect the results within this week. And again, that, depending on that result, determine future action.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions before we drop down to budget report number 2? Okay, let's move forward. We have number 2, budget report.
Good morning. This is Andrew Hawks with the Arizona Department of Gaming. I'll be giving the budget report today.
Good morning, Mr. Hawks. Thank you very much.
You bet. So on this first slide, we see a breakdown of revenue and expenses year to date. Our total revenue collected is approximately $203,000 through the first 3 months of the fiscal year. Our total expenses are approximately $914,000, which far exceeds the revenue collected. It's not uncommon for the expenses to be higher than the revenue during the off season, but the reason that they're so significantly higher than the revenue collected now is because of the $430,000 HISO assessment that was paid last month. That's the first of 2 HISO assessments that will be paid by the department this year. The next one we will be paying after December racing concludes. Next slide, please. This slide just represents and visualizes the spend year to date, which is represented in the green columns. The purple columns represent the money encumbered, set aside for purchases that we know we'll have in the upcoming months. And we are spending within our appropriation. Next slide. And this represents the cash balance and the large dip that took place in the last month due to the HISO assessment being paid. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from my fellow commissioners? All right, let's move forward. Mr. Hawks, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Dropping down to C3, legislative and department updates. Do we have Miss Rosa available?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, I can.
Great. Perfect. So good morning, Chair, Commissioners. So my name is Jessica Rosa. I'm the Chief Legislative Liaison and Communications Manager for the Department of Gaming. So happy and excited to be here. I know you guys have been without one for a while. So I wanted to give a little bit about my background. So I bring about 15 years of experience in public and government affairs, strategic communication, stakeholder management. I was a paralegal in the Army. Served a member of Congress and was also the legislative liaison for the Department of Veterans Services. So I've had some experience here in state government. So as Department of Gaming's legislative liaison, I will be serving as key point of contact for the department and the Arizona State Legislature. As you know, the legislature is not currently in session, so that provides us good time to prepare for the upcoming session, focus on some strategic planning after the November election, and be able to craft a plan on how we plan to move forward with things in the next session, and working with the new electors and kind of educating them on the racing industry and the other industries that the department regulates. So my goal really as a legislative liaison with this commission is to be in constant communication and ensure that we remain have strong relationships with both the legislative bodies, the public, the stakeholders. So I do want to give a quick update on what's happening with the agency. So the Department of Gaming, Boxing, MMA Commission, and the Racing Commission have officially begun our scheduled performance audit and sunset review with the Arizona Auditor General's Office. So this is a standard routine process that allows the legislature to assess purpose, function, and efficiency of both departments and commissions like this one. So we'll keep the commission updated as we move along and we receive more information about the specific scope and objectives of their audit and any recommendations throughout this process. And then the next update, Director Jackie Johnson did want to provide the next update in person. However, she unexpectedly had to attend to another matter, so I will be providing the update. So as you may know, Department of Gaming has made some executive staffing changes, one of which is Rudy Casillas has now retired, as you may know. So the department definitely thanks former Director Casillas for his nearly 30 years of service with the department and the mission well in his department. Pursuant to ARS 5-101.01 and ARS 5-104, the director of the Department of Gaming also serves as the director of the racing division. So our director, Jackie Johnson, will now be assuming responsibilities for the director of the racing division. That being said, the division is preparing for the upcoming racing season, as you heard from the track safety report and from Dr. Kale. We're hiring additional staff and we are working closely with all our stakeholders. So we are overall very excited about the upcoming racing season and looking forward to continue working closely with the commission and stakeholders under Director Johnson's leadership.
Thank you very much. Ms. Rosa, I apologize. I'm not there personally to meet you. I was looking forward to it. And I mirror the, we will miss Director Casillas and wish him well and look forward to working with everyone. I think this is going to be a very positive and forward moving racing season. Do I have any other comments or questions from my fellow commissioners?
Chair, this is Vice Chair Olson.
Yes.
I thank you, Ms. Rosa, for your update. You had mentioned your strategic plan. Do you plan on updating the commission about that in November or December, or when will you be able to do that?
Yeah, we can certainly provide updates after we finish going through the process and kind of identifying things. I want to make sure we keep you guys updated. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? We'll otherwise move down to C4, report on International Horse Racing Integrity Act. Mr. Guessman, are you available?
Yes.
Yes. Just one moment.
Chair, commissioners, and staff, Leroy Guessman with the National HPPA, giving an update on the HISA situation. As I reported last month, the 5th District Court has ruled that HISA is unconstitutional. And at this time, HISA has filed with the Supreme Court to put in a stay for the 5th District Court. But I'm sorry, this is too many courts here. The original Texas judge is now supposed to make a determination on what's going to happen with HISA, what horsemen are going to benefit, and which how we're going to proceed. But HISA went to the Supreme Court and asked them for a stay until the case is heard by the Supreme Court. They have filed briefs on it. The HPPA, National HPPA, has filed briefs stating oppositions. So now the Supreme Court is reviewing it, And we're just waiting now for the Supreme Court to give direction to the judge, the original judge on the case in the state judge. So that's kind of where we are with the lawsuit. The other thing I'd like to bring up today, I don't know how many of you read how many of you read the letter from Lisa Lazarus that was in the public report and public comments? But I just want to say the National HBPA is not against the concept of HISA. There's a lot of things we like about HISA. What we don't like about HISA are things like the elimination of LASIX, the way they handle cases and the penalties that they are doing. There's not a true justice system.
Mhm.
There's no, the appeals is very costly. They make it they set it up to where it's impossible for a horseman to fight these cases, and the ones that do fight it are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's a case still right now going on that's over 500,000. They're not even close to getting sucked on a contamination issue. That is also another problem we have, is all of their drug levels are at 0. And we feel there should be human contamination levels added to thresholds created for each individual drug. We do not want drugs in horses that will affect their performances. But when you got a groom that's using cocaine and the horse gets a little trace of cocaine, we don't think everybody should lose their purses and their livelihood. And that's what's happening to these people. The National HBPA had a bill introduced in the House of Representatives in Washington. Since the session ended and everybody's running for re-election and everything, we didn't get it far enough along. So once everybody reconvenes in January, we have to reintroduce the bill, and we're already working with our lobbyists, strategizing, reintroducing that bill. The other thing that really bothered me with the Lisa Lazarus letter is she indicated that the states did not do the job properly in handling the penalties, and they allowed too many people not to pay the consequences for their actions. And I felt Arizona and Iowa, the only 2 states that I worked with, both states did a very good job in handling penalties and infractions and the way they dealt with them. So anyway, I just wanted to address that part of Lisa Lazarus' letter. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Gussman. Do you see state to state a difference in how penalties are handled, or how many you're getting per state or per track?
I'm not really, since I'm not national president anymore, I'm not that involved in what's going on in other states. I just know Iowa because I raced there all summer and I'm aware of what goes on here. I think they are being pretty uniform in what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Or are you asking before ISA if the states were?
No, I'm more concerned now if we're seeing a uniform treatment. I appreciate your report very much, and we're very interested in your concerns about some of the objections to HISA and the processes that are going forward. I appreciate you keeping us updated on the bill once that comes in January. But I'm just curious if you were seeing things handled differently state to state. But I do concur with you that I'm impressed with everything that's being done here. So,
I would just say, I don't see, I think HICE has been pretty uniform in their penalties.
okay.
Where I have a problem with their penalties is, a penalty to somebody running for $100,000 purse in Arkansas or Kentucky or New York or Florida. And then what the penalty is for someone running in Arizona for a $10,000 purse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just don't seem right that the amount of the fine is the same to me. But I think there should be some consideration in what the first level of. That's one of my concerns. And then the way there's no way to really appeal. The appeal process is just impossible.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from my fellow commissioners?
None here. Thank you, Mr. Gasman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dropping down to C5 permittee report, American Greyhound Racing.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, Aaron Feinberg on behalf of American Greyhound Racing. We have no update this month. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. How about county fairs? For Paradise?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Vince Francia for Turf Paradise. I would like to start by going right back to the matter that were brought up by Mr. Estrada about the department's commitment to safety of all those involved in racing. Turf Paradise is in lockstep with the department on all matters that we've been going over throughout the summer, getting ready for the race meet, and especially safety. And that applies to the safety of our horses and our horsemen. Also the employees who work at Turf Paradise, the Turf Paradise staff, the ADOR staff, and our patrons who come into the racetrack. On June 24th, I received a letter from the department and HISA that's basically a to-do list of 60-some items. And we are now down to the last dozen that we are focused on, and they will be completed. Everything will be in order prior to the opening of the meet, which is in 23 days. Training, the horses started training on Wednesday, and that's always a good sign. That's a pick-me-up sort of event. It was to have started on October 5th, but a water line, a major water line that connects to our well, which supplies water to the racetrack, ruptured, and that requires several days of repair. And during that time, I wish to, for the record, note that Mr. Guessman, Leroy Guessman, and Mr. Yother, Lloyd Yother of the HPPA, and Freddie Alvarez, they were with me every step of the way, as was the owner of the racetrack, Mr. Sims, because we were looking to see if we could find alternatives to getting water into Turf Paradise until this got repaired. I wish to point out here that at no time were the horses endangered. When our well water got shut off, we turned on city water, so that was taken care of. But with Mr. Guessman and Mr. Yother and Mr. Alvarez, we were trying to come up with alternative ways, something that would get us through point A to B. And we weren't able to do that. In the meantime, the problem got fixed. Training started yesterday. There are currently 512 horses on the grounds. We expect 1,735. And as I mentioned, we have 23 days until we go with the live race meet. The last 12 things on the agenda right now, which were part of the to-do list of 65, they are all being tended to simultaneously right now to get things in order so that we can open. If there are questions, I would be happy to answer them, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from my fellow commissioners?
That's me, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Vancia, we always appreciate your updates. Dropping down to C6A, Arizona County Racing Association. How about B, Arizona Quarter Horse Racing Association?
Yes, ma'am, I'm coming. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, staff, Lloyd Yother, the President of the Arizona HVPA and President of the Arizona Quarter Racing Association. We've been working all summer trying to get some of these issues that are required of the track to get done. We've been working with management and staff at the track, and things are progressing fairly well. There's a number of things that Mr. Francia just addressed that still need to be accomplished, and there was talk about the inspections from the state and ISA on what is left to be done and to get done. One of my concerns, and it's a personal dislike of mine, I guess it would be. We always seem to wait for the last, not that we wait for the last minute, but we're always waiting to get this done. We cannot wait until November to figure out if everything's done at Turf Paradise. So, and up and running. And one of the other things is I don't have any notes on it today. One of the other things is licensing. I'm not sure where the department is moving into their facility at Turf Paradise for licensing, but we would be more than happy to set up an office in our HPPA office for a licensing, for the licensing department. They can even set up in the kitchen or the backside kitchen or wherever, but I'm assuming, and I think I heard that the ADOR office is livable, if you will, or where they've taken care of the mold issue and they get back in there. I guess my point is the horseman cannot or will not come down to the department downtown. They just don't have the time or don't take the time for whatever reason. And I'm afraid we're going to get in a jam at some point in time with licensing, and we'd like to see something done where they can come in to set up their office at Turf Paradise and then address the licensing issue. As far as the two breeds, the quarter horses and thoroughbreds, I had an update this morning on the number of horses. There's 613 horses at the track today. With them coming in, we anticipate a large number of horses over the next. There's still a couple of tracks that are still open, and horses are ready to move. Other than that, things are going along fairly well. The track is being addressed. We still have issues, obviously, normal issues with get the moisture right and the track and lumps and stuff out of the track for training. And you got now we do have horses on the track, and training interferes with track maintenance, so you got to make room for that. So it becomes an issue that has to be watched pretty close to make sure things are happening correctly. So I think maybe I've covered everything I need to speak on today, but I'll take any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from my fellow commissioners?
Thank you.
Thank you. I will comment that I do mirror the concern. I expressed it before. I'm a little concerned that we seem to always be playing catch up in getting some of these permits approved, licensing. We've got horses that need to be ready to run on November, and we're setting a special meeting hopefully as soon as possible. But I do sympathize and appreciate the concerns about this last minute. And I know that staff and Director Johnson will address that as quickly as possible. And I would ask if Mr. Estrada or Mr. Duncan, if you could reach out to Turf Paradise about the possibility of licensing there versus having everybody have to come downtown, and maybe give us an update on that next month. I'd appreciate that.
Will do, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And with that being said, let's drop down to where we're at 6C, Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association. I do have a raised hand. Yes, sir.
Hi, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Commissioners, this is Freddie Alvarez with the Arizona Thoroughbreds Breeders Association.
Yes, sir.
As you all know, we have our upcoming sale, October 24th, 2024 at 2:00, and this will be held at Queen Creek Horseshoe Park. As of right now, we have 120 yearlings, 16 mares, 2 racing age. We encourage everyone to come support the Arizona breeds. This is it's a yearly sale for us, and we want to see a good turnout, and hopefully everybody can come and support the Arizona breeds. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions from my fellow commissioners?
No, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, let's drop down to 6D, HBPA. Any updates?
Madam Chair, Lloyd Yother again. I don't have any updates for the Arizona HBP at this point in time. I think I've covered most of the quarter horse and thoroughbreds in my last statement. So again, I'll take any questions, but I pretty much covered everything in one meeting. So everyone.
Thank you, sir. All right, dropping. Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Dropping down to 6E, Jockeys Guild.
Hello. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board.
Good morning.
Daryl here, Western Regional Manager of the Jockeys Guild. I've been in touch with Vincent Francia about a month ago, and he assured me, Madam, that he hired the staff to address the concerns that we had. There was a long list that needed to be done, and I'm glad they're knocking off the boxes as we go along. But I'm still concerned in some situations. So I appreciate the board's support in making sure when they get closer that everything's taken care of. I've been working close with Juan Estrada, and I'll be at Turf Paradise in about 10 days to just see what's been completed, and hopefully they're ready to run in a short period of time. So but I appreciate again the support of the commission to make sure everything's in order in the next few weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hare. And Mr. Estrada, please feel free to reach out and keep an update on Mr. Hare's concerns for the Jockeys Guild. With that, let's drop down to number 7, update on Arizona horse racing economic contribution study to be conducted by the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension which is the Department of Agriculture and Resource Economics and the Racetrack Industry Program. Would that be Mr. Harrigan?
Chair, we actually have two presenters here in person.
Okay, thank you.
Nice to meet you, Madam Chair, and Claudia Montañez with me. We're both part of the group of economists who are leading this study. We appreciate your time. We hope to bring some good news and some cheer to this industry. We're currently conducting an economic contributions study. We want to communicate the importance of horse racing to the state economy. And this has been kind of supported by different stakeholders. All the main horsemen's associations were making solid progress. This is a very comprehensive study. We're considering a lot of the important avenues of money.
Yeah, basically what we are going to do is estimating the economic contribution of this industry in terms of number of jobs generated, the contribution to the state, to the industry, to the state GDP, and also the output and the sales generated. So to do this, we will need a lot of data. We are going to rely on secondary data, and also we are planning a survey applied to owners, breeders, and trainers to know their economic activity, their financials, and how they operate in this industry here in Arizona. So now Jose is going to give you details about what we need from these stakeholders in this.
So our goal is to release this study early 2025. We're making, thank you so much, some progress. I just noticed that you are seeing on the screen our slides. Can you go to the next one, please? So this study will rely on information from every single player on the industry. Most importantly, the survey to owner, breeder, and trainer, as my partner mentioned. So right now we're in the stage where we're collecting secondary data. We are partnering with the Racing Commission. We've been in conversations with Jessica and Jackie. We're currently working with the racetracks across the state. So we appreciate you all's collaboration on this study. So we do need the industry participation. We would appreciate partnership from every person possible for this survey distribution. Next one. We have a finalized design for the survey. We're just waiting for the IRB approval for distributed. And this survey will capture all the expenses, all the economic activity, all revenues, investments, financials from the main players of the industry, owner, breeder, and trainers. We'll talk to the different racetracks. We hope to get all of yours input, and also the different institutions, just as the Racing Commission, the Arizona Department of Gaming. We need every single dollar that is moved in the economy related to horse racing, so that we can show an accurate picture of how the industry itself contributes to the state economy. That's the ultimate goal. We appreciate your collaboration and support. We're here to be partners of the industry. This study at the end will show the importance of the horse racing industry to the state economy. That's the last goal. So we appreciate you all's time and attention. You can see probably my contact information. I'd like to have it. And yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, we are sending the contact information to the chat so you can have it. We are here for any questions you have. And as Jose mentioned, we really need all the data we can gather because that's the only way we can accurately capture all the contribution that this industry is making to the state. So the more data we have, the more accurate it would be. Yes. Chair,
Yes,
how many years of data are you collecting, like historically, or are you looking at forward?
We want to show what a typical year of the horse racing industry. So as of right now, we're trying to base all numbers as close to 2023 as possible. We understand that we have some unexpected conditions. We know Rito hasn't been racing in the last couple of years. So we want to show a typical year in Rito, we want to show a typical year for owners, a typical year for breeders. So that's why we rely on significant time spans of data and information, and that will depend on individuals' availability of information. But we adjust all numbers. We're economists. We can bring dollars to today's values and stuff. So we handle the math in that regard. Yes. So yeah, can you go to two previous slides, please? Another previous.
Got it.
My
Yeah,
contact information. So this is my contact information. I've been, as I mentioned, working closely with Lloyd, with Leroy, with Marvin, with Jessica. I hope to continue these partnerships and potentially reach out to more of you that we can sit down, we can talk about further about the data needs, the information that we're collecting, that we're processing, how we're capturing all the financial transactions in the industry, how can we accurately present this to the world, most importantly here to stakeholders and the Arizona people.
Thank you. It looks like some members of the public might have questions for you, so if you could stay after.
Yeah, of course. More than happy.
I think that'd be appreciated.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your time and attention and cooperation. Thank you so much.
thank you, Mr. Quintero. Would it be possible to get monthly updates on the status of the survey? I think can serve a great purpose both to the commission and just to the racing industry as well. If you could provide additional information for us each month, or as this is moving forward. Also, this PowerPoint wasn't in our packet. Would it be possible to get this to the staff and have them send your PowerPoint out to all the commission members?
Yeah, very happy to do both of those things. We can give monthly updates, very happy. We actually would prefer to do that. That would mean that we can strengthen that collaboration and then put the head down, get the work done. As I mentioned, if everybody in the industry come with us with an open mind and collaboration, and we can get all the information needed, next month, I'll assure you, we'll be having tremendous progress. So we hope that's the case. We're working hard every day, literally every day, towards this project. We're very invested, very happy to be leading this study. So yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation. We'll be here monthly updates.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
This is Commissioner Zucker. I have a brief question, Jose.
Yes, sir.
How many folks are on your team working on this project?
We're a team of 7 academic personnel. So it's 4 economists, 2 grad students, and the director of the racetrack industry program from the university. So we are a very complete team. We have different tasks assigned to each of us. We have expertise in the industry. We have expertise in economic contribution analysis study. So we're very happy to have a robust team.
And when did this project begin?
So we started all the official kickoff was like a month ago, but we started a little bit earlier with all the research with other studies done in other states, what has been done before. We're actually ambitious and optimistic about delivering a very improved version of a study that we can gather the good things that have been done in other places in one study. So we sure had high hopes for the result that we're going to show of this study.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate your contribution to the industry, what folks are doing.
We appreciate all your support and collaboration from your institution as well. It's very important for these studies. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from fellow commissioners?
Madam Chair, Floyd Yossi, the horseman.
Yes,
I
sir.
I just wanted to address, what we're doing with the University of Arizona in this, economic impact study that, the information, it's not a cheap endeavor either. So, it's very important that, people that are connected or get surveys or whatnot, actually spend some time and effort in putting this together, because without the correct information, it doesn't do us any good. And we do need it for the industry, we need it for the state, we need it for horse racing. And I just like to emphasize for anybody that's involved, especially horsemen, owners, breeders, and the public, if that's addressed during your surveys, that they take it serious and then they fill out the forms and get the right information back to these people, that we can make best use of our money spent. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a very important stage. As we mentioned, we're currently about to kick off with distribution. So all effort that can come the way for a better distribution strategy. We're working with HPPA list of people registered with the association, any other associations, any other racetracks, the commission itself, avenues that we can access to people to deliver this survey will be greatly appreciated. We're thinking to actually be at the cell previously mentioned, gathering information. We're thinking to have the possibility of alternative ways to distribute and communicate the survey. So we appreciate y'all's support towards this goal.
Thank you. And Charity, there's one member of the public that might have been interested in speaking, but I don't know if you were looking to speak at the call of the public or.
I just had a quick question. Is the report available to the public?
Yes. The goal will be to make the report available to the public. We actually are planning to have a full report and also an executive summary. That executive summary is popular among marketing endeavors, communication. If you want to talk to politicians, if you want to have a hearing, if you want to just communicate the main results of the study, we'll have the product as well at the end of the study. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or from the public or from fellow commissioners? All right. Thank you again, Mr. Quintero. I mirror your feelings. This is an extremely important endeavor, and I'm looking forward to your updates. With that being said, I'll drop down to D, commission report. I know, not sure. Again, I'm excited that we have filled another seat on our commission. With that being said, we do still have a vacancy. Do we have potential applicants for that empty seat? If the staff has any updates on that?
Madam
Yes.
Chair, there's no updates at this time.
Okay, well, I would encourage everyone to continue to get the word out there. I'm very excited that Mr. Commissioner Zucker has joined us. I would like to know that we have too many applicants for the seats than not enough. So please continue to post that information out there, and let's get a full commission going and get a lot of positive results in this racing season. With that said, I'll drop down. Does any of my other commissioners have any comments or reports for us before we go down to call to the public?
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Vice Chair. All right, and I know that Mr. Nolan, you'll want to complete your statements that call to the public.
And Chair, we do have another gentleman signed in as well in person, so when you're ready.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's go ahead, Mr. Nolan, and you can finish your statement, and then we'll move down to the next speaker.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Chair, and fellow commissioners, staff. Again, I want to just bring up a note that the next couple of meetings are scheduled on entry days and race days. I brought that up at the last meeting. Do we have anything maybe to be able to change those to the non-race days so people can participate? We're having people come back to the community now in the industry that may wish to participate, but they're going to be attending to their livestock, getting races ready in the entry booths. Again, it's something that needs to just be addressed. Hopefully you will. And can bring us an update at the next special meeting on that. Secondly, I didn't really plan on doing it, but because of conversation here, we come to this, and I hope this is the last time, and maybe it will. It's another Groundhog meeting. We have the state talking about all these things that are done, the conditional permit. We have the president of the HPBA here saying they're always waiting late. They never ready on time. And these people's lives and livelihood are at stake. The delay game is evident and obvious. It's gone on long enough. With that said, I think that the staff, Ms. Rosa, making a presentation concerning the staff, that there are some changes. I too wish to thank Greg Casillas for his service. I think it's needed that there is change. I think that the industry's been in a reverse mode to try to move it forward because of some, I put it, lawyer, lobbyists, and money in the way because we have so many things we're trying to accomplish all at once. Now that there's oversight. With this new staffing, I hope this will be the last Groundhog Day meeting. Things need to be held accountable. We understand that there's a clean, neat, safe, compliance, immediate factor that has been overlooked. There's no question. My neighborhood, I live probably closer to the facility than anybody else. And I will tell you how excited that I am that there is racing in my community, in my neighborhood. I did not want to see that property sit empty. We saw that across the street from that property for 2 decades. There needs to be racing. I am excited that there's a 3-year contract with the permit for the state. A contract with Horsemen means we have time to do what I bring to this table is awareness, accountability, and an acknowledgement that there's been problems to be rectified. Previous commissions have given unconditional permits with none of these problems to be rectified. Those are documented in a previous Auditor General report. I think it's time to move forward. I want this industry to thrive, and it certainly can. There's too much turmoil in California. I see down the road that this could be an unbelievable market if it's regulated properly with the integrity issues, the safety concerns. And that's going to bring me to my last point. I went back and listened to the July meeting, the permit meeting. I listened to the financials. There was 24 million that this permit received in federal and state monies, COVID monies, federal and state fiscal recovery funds that the permit got. We didn't see it in the industry. In infrastructure, we didn't see it in purses, other than what the purses also got some incentives. Don't get me wrong, but we didn't see it applied properly. There's funds out there. There needs to be accountability. It needs to be done quicker. This industry needs to see us move forward. We maybe with staffing changes have gotten out of reverse. We might be in neutral. Neutral's not that good. Wait till we hit first gear because it's going to go. You don't understand the potential that this industry in this state has. We have a new, hopefully another commissioner soon. We have a new board, other than the one that's still under the litigation of 8 to 10 years. We have another litigation. These things have been compromising the integrity of our industry. Those $24 million fund of federal and state funds, that doesn't involve the oversight of HISA. HISA is the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Act. We have integrity. What happened to those federal funds? We have an Auditor General report. We have a sunset review coming up.
Mr. Nolan, I apologize for interrupting, but wrap it up for me, please, because you're running out of time.
I thank you, and I think it needs to be addressed. We need to go on with the awareness, accountability, and an acknowledgement for us to continue. And I thank you all for your time and thank the staff and the new changes for trying to help us move forward. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Nolan.
Thank you, sir.
Chair, the next person on the sign-in sheet is Brian Hayes.
Thank you.
He's coming to the podium as we speak.
Madam Chair, fellow commissioners, staff, good morning. My name is Brian Hayes. I am an avid horse racing fan and have been attending Turf Paradise since 1982, over 40 years. I have my college degree in racetrack management from the University of Arizona. I have owned many horses at Turf Paradise and other racetracks. I've worked at many racetracks across the country, including Aqueduct, Belmont, Saratoga, Monmouth Park, and Dunbar. I have visited over 40 racetracks across the country and have seen the excitement and passion many of the racetracks have. I try to attend racing commission meetings and HPPA meetings and be involved in the horse racing community. In February, I visited Oaklawn Park in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and saw 50,000 screaming fans having so much fun and spending so much money. The food was incredible. The racing was the highest quality in the country. Their workers were amazing. Everyone was so incredibly happy. It was literally like a Super Bowl environment. By the way, the population of Hot Springs, Arkansas is 50,000. More recently, I've seen the same at Saratoga and Dunbar. Great purses, spectacular environment. I envision the same for Turf Paradise. We don't need 50,000 racing fans, but we do need the passion and excitement back in racing and continue to bring new racing fans. It used to be exciting for me to see opening day at Turf Paradise and see what improvements have been made to the facility back in the 1980s and 90s. There was always some improvements, whether big or small, from prior year. Back in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't unusual for 6,000 racing fans to attend the races at Turf Paradise. I, along with so many others, have seen so many changes at Turf Paradise over the last 40 years, some good, some bad. Since Mr. Sims acquired the facility over the last 20 years, there has been very little investment into the infrastructure, including the building itself, parking lot, and stable area. The food service at Turf Paradise last racing season was awful. Racing Monday through Thursday did not bring any new racing fans. I visit Turf Paradise frequently, and for the first time in a long time, I'm very encouraged and optimistic. I am hopeful and optimistic that the new food vendor will be satisfactory. I am encouraged and have seen new countertops in the food area. The men's bathroom on the ground floor is the men's bathroom on the ground floor in the grandstand is locked and closed. I'm hopeful that they can upgrade the tile, toilets, sink, and hand dryers to both the men's and women's bathroom. I'm optimistic that the management of Turf Paradise and the HPPA have their best relationship in years. I am optimistic that there are Saturday racing days to encourage new racing fans and family. I am optimistic that the turf course looks so good and the main track also looks good. I'm hopeful that there still can be improvements and some painting completed before opening day. I am optimistic that the purses will continue to be sustainable for this racing season. I will end on saying that I would love to see Turf Paradise thrive and be a leader in the industry. Phoenix is the 5th largest city in the country, and we have the ability to be one of the best racing facilities in the country. Please, Mr. Sims, invest in your infrastructure. Make it pleasant for the average horse racing fan to attend and enjoy their experience. After improvements in the building, please bring back your marketing department and bring back wallet day, t-shirt day, wiener dog races, and other special events. I thank the management of Turf Paradise, Mr. Sims, the HPPA, the owners, trainers, workers, jockeys, exercise riders, and chaplain. I also thank the Racing Commission and the Arizona Department of Gaming. I wish everyone a healthy, safe, and successful meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your feelings are acknowledged and comments are very appreciated. Any further public comment, Vice Chair?
So there's nobody left signed in, and I'm looking at the crowd. It doesn't appear that anybody else wishes to speak.
Thank you. All right, with that being said, just a reminder, keep an eye out. We will set a special meeting coming up here in October as soon as possible. So as soon as we can get that posted and on the website out to everybody, we'll let you know. Our next scheduled meeting was November 14th, which is a Thursday. And then, of course, in December, on December 12th. With that being said, it's been asked by several people in the racing industry if we could possibly move these meetings to Friday so that we can have a better attendance. Since beginning in November, we will have racing on Thursdays. So if staff could look into that, at least for November, December, see if we can move to a Friday meeting, and then we'll consider changing the meeting dates next year. That would be appreciated. Do I have any other comments from commissioners or staff? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Should I have one other second? I'd like to apologize to the department and the commission for not recognizing our new commissioner, Mr. Zucker. Mr. Zucker came out and spent a little over an hour with us yesterday, showing a lot of interest and a lot of concern and a lot of willingness to do what's right. And I'd also like to echo the chair's recommendation that we have a full commission, and if we could get some message back to the state that we need a full commission, and that they would do whatever possible, because we're still in the same vulnerability as before. If somebody has to recuse themselves or somebody has to resign from the department, we don't have a quorum. So I'd like to see that. I just wanted to, but my main concern was to apologize to you, sir. Appreciate the time with you and whatever we want. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I do have an update.
Yes,
Sure.
ma'am.
Sorry. I don't know if you can hear me because it's on, but this is Jessica Rosa. I did get an update that there are applications and the governor's office is diligently reviewing, and we'll give an update as soon as we have them. So we're making progress.
Fantastic. Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the public or commissioners before we move to adjourn? All right. And again, I apologize for not being there in person. When a child has a flat tire, it kind of messed up my morning, but I will endeavor to be at all the other meetings that we can hold in public and or in person. And I'd hope that we can make as many of those happen as possible. So with that being said, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, sir.
With a motion from Vice Chair Olson and a second from Commissioner Zucker, I will call the roll. Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
Thank you. The time is now 11:25 a.m. and the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Please exit this meeting. This meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.